More than 70,000 people in BC are currently living with Alzheimer's disease or another type of dementia. People with dementia are in our communities, working, living, and participating in activities, enjoying their neighborhoods. A part of creating a healthy city for all is creating a place where people feel safe, included, and a sense of belonging. This disease does not just affect older adults. People can develop dementia in their early 60s, 50s, and even 40s. Jim is one of those people, and here is his experience.
My journey started 8 years ago at the age of 58 when I was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. It's a strange disease to fully grasp. People look fine on the outside, but the problem, the degeneration of the brain, is inside. It's also a disease that has a stereotype built around it. In fact, there is no stereotypical person living with Alzheimer's disease or other dementia. Everyone has a different journey and will maintain different strengths, abilities, and capacities along the disease trajectory. I want to share my personal experiences with dementia because I hope that they might cause some aha moments or provide a sense of confidence for someone experiencing many of the same things. I hope too it might show that there is life after a diagnosis of dementia. For me, it is so important to educate. I talk about my journey with Alzheimer's to challenge the stereotypes. I believe that through awareness and compassion, we can become a more inclusive community. Recently, I went to buy a newspaper and pulled out change from my pocket. I looked at the coins and looked some more, but couldn't identify the coins to use to pay for it. Out of frustration, I put all the change on the newspaper. The cashier picked up the amount she wanted, and we moved forward. One small example of patience and empathy. Some time ago, when I was at home, I had to call emergency services. In my rush and confusion to dial 911, I realized I should have used our portable phone. I hung up, which I should not have done. I ended up with all these people in our house and the RCMP knocking on the door to investigate why I had called 911 and hung up. A firefighter was asking me questions. So was a paramedic and a police officer. People were milling about and they all seemed to be talking. I gather I handled the situation well enough, but if that were happened today, I wonder, if I were unable to respond adequately, how would the officials deal with me? Would they understand? Would they show me patience? Or would they see a healthy man and discount any thought of a possible dementia? Would they take a more aggressive approach? For 25 years, I worked for CP Air and Canadian Airlines, and during my career, I traveled frequently for business. One particular time at an airport that I knew well, I went up the escalator and then down again. 2 different times. I turned right and then left on the main floor until I told myself to get a grip. I finally asked for help to find my flight. I was astounded at my inability to take charge. Now, 8 years into living with Alzheimer's, I've come to realize that I have good days and bad days. I suppose the same can be said for all of us, except when I have a good day, it means I get to exercise my independence. And when I have a bad day, when my mind is too muddled to do much on my own, it means I need support. For a person who loved and thrived in business, I am now limited in my daily activities to doing 1 real task a day. Is that frustrating? You bet it is. But my life isn't over. I do have a purpose, like doing this video to tell you that we all have a role in creating inclusive, dementia-friendly communities, so that people like me and the guys in my support group can keep on living as well as possible. People with dementia need to get out. We need to socialize and get exercise. Sometimes to do this, we need a little push and extra support from our friends and families, but also from our communities. From the cashier at the grocery store, or the bus driver, to the staff at the local community center, or from the folks just out walking on the street. The first step to doing that is dismissing the stereotypes we hold about people with dementia. Like the time at a hospital emergency room when I insisted my wife Alice accompany me to the examining room because I have Alzheimer's disease. A senior nurse in the ER told me I didn't need her with me because I looked fine. And that's part of the problem, isn't it? How is someone with Alzheimer's disease supposed to look? You can't see the degeneration of someone's brain from the outside. Despite her education and experience, the nurse had displayed a familiar stereotype about Alzheimer's. She'd assumed that as soon as a person is diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, they immediately become incapable and incompetent. It's probably obvious to say, but looks can be deceiving. And that is the challenge, which is why I wear this lanyard. For me, it's an education tool. I am showing a willingness to talk to anyone about Alzheimer's. I make the most of teachable moments to help break the stereotype of a person with Alzheimer's disease. We all have a role in creating more inclusive, dementia-friendly communities.
For more information and resources, or to learn more about the Society's Dementia-Friendly Communities Initiative, please contact the Alzheimer Society of BC.